Hello Aries, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self to ultimately create the relationships that you deserve and desire. As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I will be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I will be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, please remember to take what helps and leave what doesn't. All right, let's jump on in here. On your side of this connection, Aries, you have self-care with the Nine of Swords. This connection stresses you out. I feel as if there's been a lot of anxiety associated with this connection, and it's very important that you're taking care of yourself right now and that you're making decisions from a grounded place. I feel like you're feeling very emotional, you're feeling very overwhelmed, and sometimes when we're in that space, we might have a tendency to make decisions that don't totally align with what's best for us because we are in that emotional state. Now, I feel as if there's something going on with this person that's leading to this that I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more going on than just, the black and white energies that are seen here, because this person is cocky with the devil. These cards kind of make me laugh, especially this card, just because there is a rooster. But I do feel as if this person, the top line here is it's all about them. And I feel as if this connection has become very much all about this person, their needs, their desires, their feelings, and it's left very, very little space for you. Now, this devil energy to me indicates that they're struggling with something that isn't good for them. That could be an attachment, an addiction, a bad habit. And it feels as if because of that, they do tend to take up a lot of, if not most of the space in this connection, which is why I feel this connection stresses you out and it's important to take care of yourself, because they don't feel as if there's all that much space for you in the connection, which is making it hard, again, for you to make the best decision for you because you're so focused on the connection. Now, in between this connection, you have power with the Six of Swords in reverse. I feel like you feel very stuck. I don't know if trapped is necessarily the right word, because I do feel for some of you, you might feel trapped actually. You might feel like you're stuck in this. But for some of you, there is a way out, but you're not seeing it or not choosing it for some reason, which we'll dive into all of it. Remember, this is a general reading, but right now is a time to make sure that you're standing in your power and that you're coming from this place of understanding, what you're deserving of and what, you can control. Because if you can't control this person and they're stressing you out, the more that you can focus on what you can control within you, the more control you're going to have over the outcome, just in terms of our life is a reflection of our response to our environment. So if you're responding from this place of knowing your worth and your value, life will reflect that back to you. Now, the overall theme of this reading is Earth. And I see this as being, which is very fitting because it was Earth Day on Monday of this week, but I also see this as, and I kind of already said this, but needing to make places from a very grounded place. Just like if you looked at this as kind of like your emotional state, and it's from, being grounded to being very emotional, it's almost as if what this imagery is saying in the context of this reading is like making decisions down here. When you're grounded, when you're, when you've taken care of yourself, when your needs are met, that's when we typically make the best decisions. when we're feeling emotional and overwhelmed and anxious and afraid, we tend to kind of react in ways that might not be what's best for us. But I don't know. There seems like there's something that I'm missing. Something that I feel, I don't know if it's that you don't want me to see it, or if it feels like it's something that's being held back. But I don't know. We'll see when we dive into tarot if we can uncover it, or like just what that energy is. But let's start, Aries, with your side of this. You have self-care with the 9 of Swords. Which, if it's something you don't want me to see, it's probably something you don't want to see for yourself. Aries side of the connection. There you are, King of Wands, whether you're male or female, could be dealing with another fire sign as well. There's the 8 of Swords, there's the 6 of Swords in reverse. So here's the energy of being stuck. Okay. And then the Tower here. This connection, and this is another energy like of feeling trapped. It's like you feel trapped in the pain that this connection has caused or continues to cause. And it feels like you can't break out of it no matter how hard you try. Now, I kind of already feel like there's a part of you that's like, oh, I'm, for some of you, like, I'm unbothered by this connection. Like, this person doesn't affect me, but they do. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if there's a trying to ignore it, which is actually making it worse, or like what's going on. But there's something that you're, I don't know, you're not allowing yourself to be present with. So I get this feeling that you feel very trapped, either out of obligation or because you think that nothing better can come along, or you think that this is the only person that would ever love you, or that would ever, you'll never feel anything like this before, or whatever the case might be. But I do feel like there's this energy. I mean, seeing the 6 of Swords twice here is just this energy of being stuck for sure. And then seeing the 8 of Swords here, it's like you feel trapped. Or suffocated? I don't know. I don't know. Aries side of this connection. It's like you don't want to be as affected by this as you are, but you are very affected. And I feel like that's what, it's like, yeah, you feel trapped in the pain of this experience, but I don't know, it's like you don't want to be. I feel like, Aries, I really feel like you hate how much this person has an effect on you. How much this connection has like control over your emotions. Aries side of the connection. Queen of Pentacles in reverse, Queen of Swords in reverse, and then there's the 9 of Swords, which is the same 9 of Swords as you have right here. Okay. This person makes you feel they make you feel insecure. And I feel like that's it. I'm not saying you're an insecure person. In fact, I feel like that's why it's so frustrating how much this connection has power over you, because I feel like you typically are very secure. But for whatever reason, this connection brings out quite a bit of your insecurities. It makes you feel like, I don't know, unsafe, or like not just insecure, but like unsecure. It ungrounds you. I feel, and that's because you have this Earth card, right? And then this Queen of Pentacles, it's like this connection just has such an effect on you that it has this hold over you that you just can't seem to shake. And with this Queen of Swords in reverse, it's like you kind of have I feel like you're in protect yourself mode here. But make sure that you're not just ignoring how you're feeling, because that's only going to make things come out stronger later on. Oh, that card flipped over. I'm not going to take it. It was a Page of Cups. If it was supposed to come out, if it will again if it needs to. But I feel like it could kind of just be in alignment with that message we were talking about. Okay, Aries side. 4 of Cups. It's like you're trying not to... Okay, couple of things with this message. It's like you're trying not to be affected by this. But this connection, it almost like turns you into someone you don't recognize, because we saw the Queen of Pentacles, we saw the Queen of Swords, and we saw the Queen of Cups. Now, we haven't seen the Queen of Wands, which is, you know, fire energy, your energy, whether you're male or female. And it feels as if this connection, it's like, it brings out sides of you that you don't recognize. It like brings out your shadow almost, the parts of you that you try to keep hidden and contained. And I feel like that's why it brings up insecurities. It's like this connection and this person directly pokes at those deeper insecurities within you of not being good enough, of not being lovable, whatever the case might be. And that effect, the reason it has such a deep effect on you is because of what it's mirroring. The mirror in this connection is what is creating this effect. So let's see what this person has going on. We'll come back to you in a second, but this is this person's energy toward Aries. This person's energy toward Aries. What? They're breaking their own heart in this. This Death in reverse is this energy of this person refusing to change, refusing to make required changes, which is hurting them, which is hurting you. It's like in order for this connection to work, they would have to make certain changes, but they don't want to change. But yet, they're breaking their own heart in the process of this. So, I mean, self-sabotage, but on a whole new level. Devil's on the bottom here. Queen of Cups in reverse. Six of Wands. I want to clarify this really quick. Queen of Cups in reverse with the Six of Wands. The Queen of Cups in reverse is being completely overwhelmed by emotion, allowing emotion to dictate decision making. Now, our emotions are never where we want to base our decisions off of. We want to base our decisions coming from we want to base our decisions coming from a place of being grounded, which is kind of what you're dealing with here too. Because this connection has a tendency to unground you, right? And remove you from aligning with your truth. Now, they have the same issue, but in a completely different way. It's like their self-sabotage is coming from this place of, I don't know, like it could be like anger issues, or I don't know. It's like they act from a place of uncontained emotion. And it almost is like that they have, that takes up all the space. So then it leaves no room for you, in a way. Now, here's the thing, because here you are, Queen of Wands, finally showing up here, but with the Strength in reverse. So they don't feel good enough for you, which I feel like when they feel that way, when they start feeling insecure, when they start not feeling good enough for you, they turn to self-sabotage mode. Or it makes them angry, or they push you away, or they treat you poorly, or whatever the case is. And that's when this devil comes out. It's like they turn into someone completely different. And this devil is the part of them that just completely self-sabotages. But it's all stemming from the Strength in reverse. They don't feel good enough for you. So it's almost like then, it's like they make you not feel good enough for them to make themselves feel better. I don't know, something like that. Now, I don't think they're doing this consciously, but it's just kind of like a hurt people kind of thing. This person's energy toward Aries. There's the World. 8 of Wands in reverse. It's like 1 step forward, 3 steps back. That's kind of what I'm hearing. And I feel like that's kind of their energy in this connection. Maybe they make progress and the connection makes progress. And then they take, these steps backwards that leaves you heartbroken. So that's why maybe you feel stuck because you're holding on to those steps forward, even though it feels like the connection is going backward more than it's going forward. Like that's not something that should be taken literally, but it feels like no real progress gets made. This person doesn't change, so things don't improve. Now there might be signs of improvement. So you're like, oh, okay, things are getting better, things are going to change, but then things don't improve, and it brings up all of these things for you, and you feel stuck because you're like, well, what if things do improve, and I'm not around to see it, or I'm not around to experience it? I've put so much into this already. I don't know. It's interesting, but yeah, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. That seems to be like their kind of theme here. It's like they start to make changes and then they don't in the end. It's like these insecurities, these fears, these feelings of not being good enough come up, and then the emotion completely takes over. They turn into this devil and ruin all the progress. Interesting. Okay, Aries. Back to your side here. This is for Aries' side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Aries' side of this connection. King of Wands, the Empress. A lot of this connection is turned into you taking care of them, but not being taken care of yourself. Yeah, literally, 10 of Wands in reverse, bearing the burdens of someone else. It's like your energy in this connection is completely dedicated to what you can do for them, how you can help them, how you can love them, how you can be there for them. Meanwhile, you're not getting taken care of at all, it feels like. No, now this person will make changes to start to look like they're going to, and then again, like things these steps backwards start to happen. And that's why I feel it's like you feel very powerless in this connection, because you're doing everything you can to help them, but they're not really helping themselves here. Aries side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. You miss how things used to be. Yeah, before the devil. Literally, the Three of Cups. It's like you miss how things used to be. You miss the connection that you used to have, and you're holding on to that, even though this person, it's like they turned into the devil. Not saying they are the actual devil, but like their shadow side completely took over here. And then that pokes at your shadow. It's like the worst in them brings out the worst in you. Now, we all have the worst of us, right? We all have that. So I'm not saying you should be ashamed of that part of yourself. In fact, that's the part of you that needs the most love and acceptance and compassion. But I do feel as if it's like you bring out the worst in each other. Now, I'm sure there was a time in this connection, and there are times where you do bring out the good in each other. I'm not saying it's only the bad. But I feel like specifically in this reading, the triggering that happens between these two individuals is insane, between these two energies. Because I feel like this person wasn't always like this. But yeah, it's like it's become all about them. This devil took over. Aries side of the connection. And you're freaking tired of it. You're drained. You're tired. You need something different here. Your cup is running out, Aries. Your cup is almost empty, and maybe it is empty. Because I don't feel like this connection is a safe space for you. The word safety keeps coming to mind. Like, not that you are in physical danger. If you are, that's more than a tarot reading can do to help. I encourage you to seek help elsewhere. But I feel like this has a lot to do with like emotional safety. I feel like it's just, this is such a tumultuous energy. Like, this person is a tumultuous person. Like, toxic is what it feels like, especially seeing the devil so much, which brings out the toxicity in you. Now, we all have toxic traits. Every single person has toxic traits, and becoming aware of those and learning to heal those so we don't have to show up in that space anymore is the point. So maybe that's a big part of what this connection is about. They're triggering each other's shadows, the things about yourself you don't love, the insecurities, the fears, and how you handle that is going to determine what's made of this, right? You can't control how this person handles it. And I don't really know if they are handling it much in a good way here. But this person's energy toward Aries. Does Aries need to know about this person's energy toward them? Yeah, because they have the death in reverse. So they're not making change, like true change here. The Hermit. Until they do any self-reflection, basically, things aren't going to progress. And it's almost as if they're avoiding wanting to see who they really are. It's like they come out as this devil, but they're not willing to like. So many of us spend a lot of our life running from the parts of ourselves that we are not proud of, the parts of ourselves that we are ashamed of. And the thing is, we all have a shadow side. We all have a version of ourselves that is healed or unhealed, traumatized, and that makes bad decisions, basically. We all have that version of ourselves. And learning to fully love that version of ourselves is how we learn to fully love ourselves. And most people spend the majority of their life running from being honest about that part of themselves. And usually that part of ourselves is triggered in connections, which is what it brings up the parts of ourselves that we don't truly love and ultimately is needing our love. And depending on how we deal with that is going to determine the health in the sustainability of a connection. If you are, not doing the self-reflection and not looking at what's within your control and not paying attention to your toxic traits and things of that nature, then, and this goes for both parties, then nothing, you're gonna project and you're gonna react, and it's going to turn into you versus them, and it becomes, again, very tumultuous. And I feel like sometimes when people, bring out that side in us, we have to learn that there are parts of us that are looking to be healed too. And that's why the universe is asking you to get grounded, to ground yourself in the truth of what's really going on here so that you can make the best decision for you, because I feel like you very much have a tendency to get caught up in this person's whirlwind of whatever is going on here. And then you end up getting hurt because it's almost like they're a freaking tornado, and then you trying to stop that tornado, but you just get caught in it. And then you're like, what the heck just happened? Because remember, this is about power, taking your power back so you don't feel so trapped. It's like you feel trapped in their storm here. Can't figure out how to break out or how to stop it, but there are ways. And ultimately, it's just making sure that you're taking care of yourself as much as you're taking care of this person, that you're showing up for you as much as you're showing up for them. Because if there's no space for you in the connection, who's showing up for you? If you're giving all of your energy to them and they're not giving any of it back, then who is showing up for you? Where are you getting your support? Where are you getting the love you deserve? It's not coming from this person, so it must need to come from you. This person's energy toward Aries. This person is coming from this place of believing that you're always going to give them another chance. It's like they see this Ace of Pentacles. It's like why would they commit to change if no matter whether or not they change, you continue to show up, you continue to invest? It's like they see this as like, oh, Aries will never leave, or Aries will never give up on me, or Aries will put up with it. It doesn't really matter what I do because Aries will stick around. And obviously that's not fair to you, right? You deserve someone who's willing to show up to make sure that they're, doing the best thing for you just as much as they are themselves. And I feel like this person is kind of coming from a very selfish place. Now, again, hurt people. But we also teach people how to treat us. And we teach people how to treat us based on what we tolerate. And if we tolerate people's mistreatment for long enough, they will assume and start to believe that they can just treat us however they please, and we will continue to love them or show up for them or provide for them or whatever the case is. And that's where you start to learn the difference between like loving someone and enabling them. Is we can love someone and have empathy for other people without enabling and tolerating the behavior that comes with their lack of self-love and their lack of healing, which is what is absolutely necessary in this connection, because the more that you allow this person to show up in this way and treat you in this way, the more that your soul is getting drained by this and has less to give you. And eventually you're going to wake up, and maybe this has already happened, but you're going to wake up one day and you're going to realize you have nothing less to give because you've given it all away to someone who literally cannot reciprocate you. This person's energy toward Aries. And again, I think you're holding on to how things used to be, because I feel like this connection used to be very harmonious. Like, especially with this Three of Cups, it's like things used to be good. It used to be stable. Maybe there was, reciprocated love, or maybe there wasn't. But I feel like you're holding on to either what things used to be or what you thought that they were going to be. And then this person, it's like they turned into this devil, which ultimately the devil in them kind of came out, and then they're not doing the healing to not allow that part of them to control them. Because we all have a selfish side. We all have a survival-based side of us. We all have a shadow. But learning not to let our shadow control us is the only way to create a healthy life for ourselves, but ultimately create and sustain healthy relationships too. Now, I encourage you, and I will say this in any of my readings, when I'm talking about both sides, try to look at it as a mirror. Maybe there's things within you that are being brought up in this connection, how you're letting your shadow control. There might be more to just than one side of this, right? But because people are always a mirror, and there's definitely a very large mirror going on here. This person's energy toward Aries. The hope that there will always, it's like the hope that this devil will eventually go away, that there will be a new beginning, is what keeps you trapped. It's like you're always stuck believing that eventually the devil, that will leave them, that part of them. But it's a part of who they are. I'm not saying it is who they are. We all have a good side too. But the more we heal, the more we can learn to not allow that devil shadow side of us to completely control us. But it's almost like, and especially if this is talking about addiction or bad behaviors, if those could stop, things could be really good, and there would be a new beginning in this connection. So you continue to hold on in case that happens. But this person isn't changing. Those changes never happen, which leaves you very trapped because you're stuck in hoping that things get better, but then they never do. It's the cycle. It's a perpetuating. It's the decision to continue to invest perpetuates the cycle. Because again, why would this person change if they can continue to show up as they are and still get all of your love and all of your support and all that you have to give? And you might turn around and say, oh, so they're taking advantage of me. No, they're in survival mode, so they're taking what they can get to feel like they're surviving. That has nothing to do with you. How other people treat us very rarely has anything to do with us and everything to do with them. And always, especially if people aren't treating us like we deserve, that's a direct reflection of their capacity and their value, not of our value. I don't know. It's almost like, and this might not resonate for everyone, but it's like you kind of need to stop saving this person and need to let them hit rock bottom. I read, there's a book called Judgment Detox. It's by Gabrielle Bernstein. She's a spiritual teacher, and I actually take a lot of her teachings, base a lot of my teachings off of her teachings. And in the book, she talked about how loving someone as they are is the most loving thing that we can do. Trying to change someone is the most unloving thing that we can do, even if those changes that we're trying to get them to make are what's best for them. Because there might be a lesson that they need to learn that would require them to hit rock bottom in order to learn that lesson. But the more that we try to save people, the more we're actually keeping them from learning these lessons that they need to learn, or ultimately putting it off, right? Because you can't actually save anybody. You can support people in saving and fixing and healing themselves, but you can't do it for them. And the more that we try, the more we actually end up more hurt. Now, on the flip side, when we're trying to save, heal, fix somebody else, we're ultimately trying to do those things to ourselves. So I don't know. It feels like you're holding on to this person's potential, understandably so, but you're putting up with so much in the meantime, which is keeping you really stuck in a very painful situation. In between this connection, you have power with the Six of Swords in reverse. I'm going to hop on over to the extended. I'm going to pull 9 different messages looking at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. And then I have an advice card to pull at the very end. Thank you so much, Aries, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Aries, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Aries.